Say hello, everyone. How's it going? So I think I was 3 minutes late. Forgive me, everyone. I was just in a little bit there before I start off the show. So first of all, hello everyone who has joined me here this evening, and many of you are coming in. I was just in a little bit of a flap today, a little bit of a tizwas, in the sense of, it's one of those days when you think you've got lots of time and then you actually start doing the admin and everything. And I started processing everyone's charts that I needed to do. And there was one chart, Carrie or Carolyn, if you're watching, I put an extra R in your email and I got a bounce back. But I didn't realize, so I saw your email today. So your chart and consultation and everything is now sent over to you. So please have a look in your email and you will see it there. So apologies for that. I did send it on time, but I put in an extra R that shouldn't have been there. And it's just one of these days today where it's just, I had some lunch and did some bits and bobs, but I've been doing lots of stuff with family. How many of you guys have been doing stuff with family recently, whether it would be their physical health, their mental health, or just, just family needing a bit of extra support and stuff like that? But it's been amazing. I've been doing a lot of bonding and stuff with my dear brother, and it's been fantastic. And so it's been really good, but it also means I've been slightly off with my usual timing on things. So first of all, can you hear me all right? And we've got the hellos and everyone coming in. Brilliant. Brilliant. So who do we have here? We've got Spirits Beyond the Stars. Are you new? Oh, that seems new to me. We've got Keisha Harris. We've got Marjorie Lara. Thank you, Marjorie, so much for being here. We've got Super Queen B45. Oh, wow. Loving that. And she's saying hello to everyone from, look at that picture. Wow. Oh my gosh, this is absolutely fascinating. We've got Earth Mama. Thank you, Earth Mama, for being in the house. We've got Anna Rude, or Rude, yeah, Rude. I guess, or is it Rudd? How would you say that? And what's Anna saying? She's saying, hey, Hogarth and chatters. And we've got Lolita Richardson and many more. So I'll read out a few. We've got Justin's mom as well. I see that's just come in, which is brilliant. I love these names. All right, folks. So you know what? Oh, I must make sure that I try not to wobble my camera too much. I'm going to bring you closer in as well so you can see the chart. And so we've got a bit of black and white for the chart today. Now, let me just make sure that that is all good. And let's turn that like that. And I want to try and bring the chart closer and things closer this way so that you can see a bit more readily. Now, okay, today's chart is about Stacey Abrams. Stacey Abrams. But before we get stuck in on Stacey Abrams, we need to talk, folks. Oh my goodness. There is so much going on. And what I wanted to say, I wanted to mention a few things. So look, I've got my little notes here. I've got my little notes here so I can remember everything. So indulge me as I just cover some of these little bits and bobs. So first of all, I'm going to be on Diane's Tarot. I'm going to be on Diane's Tarot show. I'm going to be on there on Friday. She's mentioned it in her show, but just to let you know, I'm going to be on Diane's show this Friday coming up. So we're really looking forward to that. And we'll be doing some deep dives on, astrology and tarot. And I think we're going to be reading each other as well. So we'll see all that stuff. And Diane, if you're watching, I've got your chart ready and waiting. Yeah, it's already done, but it's in Technicolor. Diane's one's in Technicolor. The other thing I wanted to mention was Lindsey Graham. Did you guys hear? Like he mentioned something about get vaccinated, folks, and he got booed down. Bit like a certain Duck L'Orange, yeah. Hey, well, what's someone saying? Stacey Abrams is great and will go far. Yes, let's hope so. Definitely when we look at her chart is very interesting. I think you'll find it very interesting. Also as well, remember, we are in what? Mercury retrograde at the moment. Yeah, Mercury is retrograde. What does Mercury cover? Mercury covers the media, communications of all kinds, negotiations, etc. See the trouble that's happening at Facebook? Oh. Do you know what? I think they, they really need the camera focusing on them. I'm sure you guys would agree, because those Facebook algorithms and stuff, not good, not good. So, we can look at things like that. Maybe we could even pull some cards on that. The debt ceiling as well, 18th of October. Now, you remember what I said months ago? I said in September, October, there's going to be some kind of dip, some kind of challenge to finances and money and optimism and stuff like that, because that's what Jupiter represents, and he's debilitated at the moment. So I might do another pull on that. And what else? I think, and that aide to Trump who has vanished. They've subpoenaed him. I forget what his name is, forgive me. I was catching up on everything, and they're just, I should have made a little note of his name, but they were not able to serve him the subpoena. So isn't that interesting? And someone's saying here, Mimi is saying, hello, Gotham Chatter. So pleased to see you are doing Stacey Abrams' chart. Stacey is a hero. Yes, she is. But she is in the midst of a kind of political maelstrom that's going on right now. It's just a very challenging time. There is a lot going on, and I did say there would be challenges at this time, because we've got 7 planets retrograde right now. So we've got Mercury retrograde, we've got Uranus retrograde, Neptune retrograde, Chiron is retrograde, Pluto is retrograde. What else? Saturn and Jupiter. 7 planets retrograde. All right, let's see. Before we get stuck in, let me just see what here. Oh, this is interesting. All right, so Spirits Beyond the Stars has said this. I believe Mark Z shut down Facebook and Instagram on purpose to where he could get rid of evidence. I believe he's too late on the whistle board, as tons of proof in writing. That's an interesting one, isn't it? That is a very interesting one. And it's so nice to see you guys greeting each other as well. So Jacanda Thomas is greeting everyone there, because this is like it's our little community, isn't it, that we're building here on this channel. Okay, now I will dip in and out, but without further ado, let's get to the star of the show before, and then we can have a little digression. We can do a little bit of tarot and just ask on some of these questions. Even on my notes, I just thought, oh, these are actually good questions to ask. So let's get stuck in. A little slurp here. Oh, you're all piling in. Thank you everyone so much. Now, normally the ink here would be darker. Forgive me. I'm literally in a pen crisis right now. Look, you see here, this pen would normally be filled with ink. You see, it's virtually empty. Only a little crumb remains. It's almost a bit like the debt ceiling in reverse. Yeah, I shouldn't joke about these things. It's not good. This pen has run out. So has this pen. I do so many charts now, as you can imagine. It's the equivalent of hundreds of meters of writing. But anyway, so my symbols are a little bit faint. So now I'm going to try and adjust my lighting somewhat, and you will see my eyes are fixed, folks. I am hailed. Thankfully, a bit of rest, and lots of berries. Actually, you'll be seeing. Look, I've been putting lots of berries in my drinks because berries are full of antioxidants, and they're very good for the macula and the eye and stuff like that. And I think it really did the job. All right. Ooh, very curious here. The whistleblower will be the change of Facebook and Instagram. Yeah, I certainly hope so. So Spirits Beyond. All right, let's start with the basics of Stacey Abrams, and then we'll get stuck in. Okay, so Stacey Abrams was born on the 9th of December 1973 at 16:44, so 4:44 in the afternoon / evening in Madison, Wisconsin. Yeah, Madison, Wisconsin. And as you know, I've got both charts here. I've not done any drishti on the charts because sometimes it just gets in the way. Yeah, but I can show you who is looking at what. And also as well, where is my wand? Of course, I've got the big chart up here. So I may even do a little bit of a kind of like a lean in something like this, just so that we can see what's going on. So straight off the bat, what do we need to know? We always start with the first house. Yeah, here's the first house here. Now remember, the first house is the body, the personality, how we come across, first impressions, all of that, etc. And I've just got, you might see a little bit of flapping here because I've got my fan on, so I don't have my astrological hot flush, which can sometimes descend upon me at the most inconvenient of moments. So here, what we have Ketu, who is what? Snip, snip. And we have got Saturn, balloon popper, in the first house. Ooh, that's actually quite a tricky combination. Now, what I've written here, I've put in here in my notes, I've put here modesty, shyness. Oh gosh, things are blowing away. Let me just turn the fan this way. There we are. Sorry. I was having a little bit of a hurricane going on. So, first house, and I put here modesty, shyness, and a very strong feeling of responsibility. So basically, when we've got Saturn, Shani, as his Sanskrit name is known, Saturn is what? Balloon popper. Saturn is has a heaviness, a sense of responsibility. Saturn is also the planet of service, how we also serve others, and it's also to do with karma. And that is combined with Ketu, which is, snip, snip. Now, whenever Ketu is in the first house, that tends to make a person shy, especially when they're younger. So what this can also show as well is, it can also show not only a sense of responsibility, but also a sense of compassion. Now, why would Stacey Abrams have compassion, which is clear that she does? It could be coming from a sense of feeling less than when she was younger. Saturn is a very modest planet, but also as well, it can show a person has had to grow up very quickly and has had to deal with a lot of responsibilities, particularly to family, but could also be friends and associates, colleagues, but also society as well. There is just that sense of responsibility and also charity and doing good works. Ketu is very, very intuitive. Like I said, he's the moksha karka. He's about liberation from this world and going up to the stars and beyond. So if we look here in my kind of rather swimming pool ceiling that you guys love to see, and me too, I couldn't look at it the other day. Did you see me when I was doing my Stevie Wonder with the, with my glasses on, the Lenny Kravitz or whatever? I just had to. My eyes, were quite painful. I couldn't look at the light and I couldn't get my display on. But Ketu is a bit like that, a bit like this background. He's otherworldly, very spiritual, but also quite mute. So Ketu has the ability to know things without saying it. Thank you so much, Linda Rees. Thank you. I'm glad you love the ceiling. I'm so used to it now. I mean, I miss it when it's not there. So when Ketu is in the first house, what it does is it does a snip, snip on the ego. Yeah, does a snip, snip on the ego. Can make people very shy, very modest, but especially there when combined with Saturn, that's very strong. Also as well, this Saturn is in the Nakshatra of Ardra. Now remember, Ardra is one of the most difficult portions in the sky. It's where all the cray-cray happens, yeah? All the cray-cray happens in this axis. When the nodes of the moon are there, it's very challenging. And what did we have back in 2020? The nodes of the moon. Rahu was in Ardra. Ketu was in Mula. And that means tearing up by the roots. And we see here, look, Stacey Abrams has got her Saturn in Ardra. And she's got Rahu, gobble, gobble, in Mula. So this creates a very dynamic relationship, and it also in regards to changes in life. It means she's had some upheavals in life. Saturn would have slowed them down, but it means they would have been of a quite and deep and profound nature. So she's a deep person and she feels a lot. But let's not forget, this is still Gemini. Gemini is the sign of what? Communication, speaking to the masses, media, all of that stuff. So she's also a gifted speaker as well. She knows how to talk and she doesn't mince her words. Remember, Saturn doesn't really, it's not about puffing things up. And Ketu as well is modesty. So it means that she means what she says and she's not wasteful with her words. Also as well, Ketu is here in the Nakshatra of Mrigashira. This is the Gemini section. But Mrigashira is about the search for beauty. So here we have a modest person who is interested in public service, has a sense of duty and responsibility to not only to herself but others, but is also searching for that higher beauty. Isn't that great? And we see that coming out in her politics. So that's that house there. What else are people saying? Oh, lots more of you joining in. So nice to see you guys. So we have Sharon Saipi. We've got Spirit Beyond the Stars, which I said. Miranda Lynn, 1995. I think that's a new name as well. Welcome. Nancy, so nice to see you in. We've got Mary Hanson. Who else do we have? Vivian Symes. She's saying hi to Spirits Beyond the Stars. Oh, and here we are. And this is so interesting. Spirit Beyond the Stars has just said, Hogarth, I looked up if curry could cause eyes to be irritated and said spice can make eyes irritated if the person is having an allergic reaction. Do you know what? I think there was a bit of allergy in there combined with fatigue. So thanks so much for that. But you know, the old sources are now back in play. Right. Okay. So I'll carry on. Oh, lots of you coming in. Someone's saying Stacey Abrams for president. Absolutely. She would be fabulous, by the way. She's really got that sense of responsibility. Right, now we're going to skip a few houses. Just because they're empty doesn't mean that they're not working. It just means there isn't as much oomph and emphasis in that house. It means the house is actually quite calm. When there's lots of planets, there's emphasis and there's energy. Now here, if we look in the fourth house, look, there's Pluto, which you can just make out. Because obviously all my pens are just fading from too much work. But here we are. What have I put here? Actually, I've not mentioned that in the notes, but what I would say is Pluto here is in the fourth house. Fourth house deals with homeland. Not only the home and the family growing up, but it also means homeland. So it shows that she actually has quite a strong desire to transform the homeland in some kind of way. The fourth house also deals with politics because politics is almost always a domestic issue first, and then it goes international. Where's the international? Opposite. Yeah. The fourth house and the 10th house are always opposite each other. So planets in the fourth house will always aspect the 10th, which is the career. And we see here she's got in this, she's got Pluto in here, and it's in the Nakshatra of Hasta, which means hands, and it's contained within Virgo. So here it's about being able to move or manipulate things. It's about skills and it's about talents. And here it being with Pluto as well, it can also show as well that she understands that what happens in the domestic agenda is very important. And she's very interested in molding and shaping that, if we take that quite literally as well. And what have I put here? So if we look here in the fifth house, what's the fifth house? The fifth house is giving consultation and advice to others. Yeah, it deals also as well with things like astrology and the higher mind, stuff like that. It also deals with children and creativity. If we look here, she's got Uranus here. Now, remember, Uranus is what? Sudden shocks and surprises. It's also known as the Great Awakener or the Great Liberator. And she's got that in the fifth house, but it's also the rebel. Yeah, it's also the rebel. And it's at 3 degrees of a nakshatra that is called Chitra. And Chitra is known as the divine architect. Now, isn't that interesting? So here, and what have I written here? I've put here Uranus and Chitra, the divine architect that disrupts the usual order via counsel and advice to others. So can we see how that literally has played out for her? Because when we think of her contribution to the Democrats getting the 2 senators in, which I've written in the description, both there, Ossoff and the other one, it begins with W, his name. And really what we can see here, it's been by her advice and counsel to others that she's caused what? An upset for the GOP. Isn't that interesting how that is expressing itself? So it shows here that she's very creative, because the 5th house is creative, but it shows she's quite a radical thinker. Yeah. Stacey can think outside of the box. And actually, when someone was given the shout at saying Stacey for president, this would make a very dynamic and unconventional president. So think about that. And someone is very intelligent. Uranus is the higher octave of Mercury. So we're really dealing with someone here who is a radical thinker and cannot be put in a box. It's her mind holds the energy of electricity. She probably wakes up with inspired thoughts in the middle of the night and probably runs to the side of the bed and, you know, writes them down. So let's just see who else is in. So Yvonne is saying, hi, Hogarth. Great to catch you live. Yes, thanks so much. Great to be live. Always get some little butterflies just before it starts, and then it's all great once we're underway. Earth Mama is in the house. Creating your life consciously. Love that name. Fabulous. Michelle Bell as well, and Mimi. How do I say that name? Mimi Eatschultz. Oh, there we are. New names, good to see. Oh, Lizette, darling, you are in the house. So nice to see you. And I think you've booked me for a follow-up, haven't you? If I remember correctly, I was flicking through my diary and I was like, oh, Lizette is there. We've got tons to catch up on. Oh my goodness, so much. And I'm sure you've got lots to tell me. And I wonder if you actually did that homework in the end. Do you remember that homework I set you? I'll keep Storm here, but I'm sure we will talk about it when I see you soon in the next few days. Right, I digress. Forgive me. Next house. So we talked about the 5th. Now let's talk about the 6th. Now this is a juicy house. We all know about this house. The 6th house deals with health, yeah, health, healing, and overcoming obstacles and stuff like that. Deals with enemies, yeah. But it also deals with practical skills, deals with routines. It could be your yoga routine. It could be your diet, yeah, the diet that you're following, or where you're looking at your health and tweaking things and stuff like that. It's about the 6th house is about everyday work. It can be quite a mundane house until it goes wrong. It's very important. Do you remember over the lockdown, all of a sudden, we really started to appreciate the people that take out the bins, you know, the people that do deliveries, the people that drive buses. Nurses and doctors are also seen here as well. And what does she have? We see our first and only stellium in her chart. Look at this. Sun, Neptune, and Mercury all together in Scorpio. What I'm learning is this. Isn't this interesting? Because, you know, when I've been looking at senators and stuff like that and people in politics, have you noticed how much Scorpio turns up? So here we see she's got the sun. Now remember, the sun is what? The kingdom. Yeah, the kingdom, the divine spark in this lifetime. Wherever the sun is in your chart, that is the house that is in. That's where you are building that kingdom in some shape or form. So here she's got the sun in the 6th house, which means she's interested in health and well-being, things like nutrition, working hard, health, solving problems. 6th house is very much about trying to solve problems or defeat one's enemies. Someone was just saying, where did you say that? Ah, there we are. So Juno is just saying, Hogarth, your eye is better. Yes, it is. Thanks so much. I mean, I was a little bit worried for a while, but I was like, you know what? I trust. I just said a prayer, you know, to the Grahas upstairs, and they all sorted it all out. There you are. I talk to them all the time. Anyway, I'm just being silly today. Right. So what does she have in there? She's got the sun, the kingdom. Yes, also represents the father. She's got Neptune and she's got Mercury. Now, Mercury and Neptune are in the constellation of Anuradha, which is about devotion. This is the very devotional part of Scorpio. Yeah. In many ways, we could call it the Joe Biden portion. Yeah. It's but very much about devotion and commitment and stuff like that. So surprise, surprise, she's a Democrat, and you know, she's on Joe Biden's side, and she's got Mercury there. Now, Mercury is the only planet that picks up strength in the sign of Scorpio or in the 8th house, and here it is in Scorpio. Shows a penetrating mind, yeah? The brain, she's a real deep thinker, able to work a lot of stuff out, which obviously helped in the various campaigns. But look, here is Neptune. Now, as we know, the shadow of Neptune can be what? Deception, gaslighting. It can represent mysteries, hidden things. But the good side of Neptune deals with music, but it also deals with spirituality. And Neptune dissolves the boundary between the three-dimensional world and the world beyond. So this is very Neptune, yeah, this background here. So what this can suggest is that she is a practical person. The 6th house is practicalities, realities. But she's also a very calculative, I can't even say my words right tonight. She's a great thinker. Her mind goes deep to probe into things. That Mercury is in Scorpio. But in between is Neptune. And what this can show is, it can show that there's a spirituality to her. She actually has a deep intuition and this deep desire to create kind of healing. Neptune can also deal a lot with healing as well. So I found that very interesting, but it also means as well that her enemies are very slippery. Yeah, if we take into account the shadow of Neptune, it means her enemies are gaslighters. Yeah, they don't tell the truth. Now, we all know this, don't we, about the GOP? We all know this. But here it's illustrated. So for her, in a way, it's the positive. It will be manifesting as spirituality. But it shows her enemies are very cunning and also very determined. Jyeshta is the most determined nakshatra of them all. Yeah, remember, Duklaronge's moon is in Jyeshta. Yeah, actually at 20, I think it's at 24 degrees or something like that. Let me just see if she's got the same thing. Where's Dr. Larange? Here we are. Trump. So his moon is at 28 degrees. 28 degrees, slightly off, but very close. And then if we look, but her sun is here. It's only when the moon is in Scorpio that we sort of worry a bit. Here she's got the sun. So it means she's prepared to take on the battles of others. Jyeshta is about taking on battles. So we see here she's very determined and almost ruthless when it comes to her enemies in a way, but she does it in a way she kind of dissolves her enemies. Yeah, Neptune is about dissolving, and she uses her mind, her cunning, her intelligence. Yeah, very interesting. We look in the seventh house here. She's got Rahu, gobble gobble in the 7th house. Oh! What this means is this is the public, this is relationships, this is business. It means she's dealing with a lot of characters, a lot of eccentric and flamboyant characters, he says, with his rather spangled shirt. Listen, look, I've got Rahu in the 2nd house, yeah, and it just adds a little bit. It puts a bit of Liberace in one's life. So this is what Rahu does for everyone. Whatever house he's in, he kind of blows it up a bit. So here, when it's in the 7th house, because remember she's got Ketu in the 1st, she's modest, but she will find in her life she just keeps attracting all these characters. I'm sure there are times she scratches her head and she's like, I'm so not into drama. Yeah, so not into drama, because remember she's got Saturn there as well. But yet she finds people around her are flamboyant, over the top, loud, brash. It's all Rahu, yeah. Rahu likes to talk. Big speakers, flamboyant, bit over the top. So she's dealing with people like that. And look, it's in the fire sign of Sagittarius. And Sagittarius is what? The law. The 7th house is relative to Libra, the 7th sign, which is also the law. So here, of course, you know, I'm sure she's probably a lawyer, got legal background, as most of these senators are legalese or something like that. So it shows as well a fluency with the law, but righteousness, the search for truth. And here, this Rahu is in Mula, which means tearing up by the roots. So she's actually quite radical. She's quite radical and has got strong beliefs as well. And here is Ceres, which of course is how we love. Yeah. So for those of you that have joined my membership, feel free to join my membership if you want to learn more. I actually today, before I forget, I've not uploaded it yet. I'll upload it after this. I have just done a video for the membership of Martin Luther King. I've gone right into his chart. Guys, you will love it. It's very interesting, and I've cast certain dates, and particularly as well the date which he sadly was taken from us. And when you see how that lines up with his chart, you're going to be like, oh my God. So it's done, it's edited, I think it's uploaded. I just need to publish it. It's there. Anyway, so she's dealing with all these characters. How are we doing on time? All right, we're doing all right on time because I want to do a good bit of tarot as well. Now, if we look here, 8th house. Now we know the 8th house is sex, death, and rock and roll, but it's also transformation. It's also rejuvenation, rebirth. And in here, she's got Venus and she's got Jupiter. So let's read a little bit on that. So I've put here a sense of hard work without luck, because Jupiter is the planet of luck, but he's debilitated in this sign. So she's having a Jupiter returns this year. So a sense of hard work without luck for the, what have I written here? Of the public, I think I've written here for the rejuvenation of the public. I wrote this at speed. Of the public, but relying on deep data insights, research, and the covert support of women to help her outthink men that would obstruct her. I know that was quite a mouthful, but why? What's going on? Jupiter also represents the male principle as well. Male planets. Oh, over 200 of you now. Thank you for joining me. Male planets. Jupiter, Sun, Mars. Yeah. Mercury is gender neutral. Saturn is actually technically gender neutral, but he represents things that are old. So he can represent grandparents, for example. Things that aren't necessarily reproducing themselves. And Venus is what? Women. But this is happening in the 8th house. Now, the 8th house can deal with scandals, shocks, and surprises. And we've seen, unfortunately, for Stacey, you know, there have been many people that have been out to stab her in the back. Let's just put it that way. Let me have another slurp. So she's had to deal with those challenges. And what it can mean as well is when Jupiter is debilitated, Jupiter represents the husband. When it's in Capricorn, it's not always so good for the husband. What it can mean is or men in general. It can just mean she's been dealing with challenging or difficult men in her life. It could also affect her relationship with her gurus, her teachers, even her own father or brothers, or just men in general, or them being attached in some kind of way or something like that. However, when Jupiter is debilitated, it does make a person work hard. They believe in hard work and they don't rely on luck. So that's very good. And when we think of how hard she was working, for the Georgia runoff, here we can see Venus was helping out. So Stacey Abrams enjoys a lot of support and sisterhood from women, which is great. And it's that kind of almost like that covert support. So what this suggests is maybe women may have said to their partners or spouses or family, oh, yeah, I'll vote this way. But in the ballot box, they voted for Stacey. Yeah, because when you're in the ballot box, you're on your own. No one can see what you're doing or which box you tick. You know, there you are. You have anonymity. So this shows here there is a deep groundswell of support for Stacey. Also as well, this Venus here is in Uttara Ashada, which means the latter victory. So it shows that, you know, women are prepared to put their support behind Stacey to help her to win in some shape or form. Now, I was supposed to look up at that Stachanuka. I forget what it is, but anyway, we'll see. We're going to look at her Mahadasha sequence and what that could entail. Right, 10th house, very important. I'm going to bring this closer. Sorry for the wobble. If we look here, Chiron in the 10th house. Look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. What's Chiron? The wounded healer. What's the 10th house? Deals with what? Public. Let's just read off to see where this wound may have manifested itself. And if we look here, what's the 10th house? Public duties, career, presidents, reputation, bosses, fame, father's wealth, honors, vocation, purpose, status, government, authority figures, highest achievements. Yeah. Now, and vocation and status. Stacey, of course, did that run a little while ago. You guys will know better than myself. But basically, she got what? Swindled. She was robbed. Yeah, she was robbed. You know, the GOP will never admit it, but, you know, most people just like she was robbed. Yeah. So she received a wound in public. 10th house is a very public house. And when we, and this can also mean a wound to the status and stuff like that, but it's also as well, it also means that wherever Chiron is, we can also heal that wound and help others. So here we can see Stacey is committed to healing the wounds of others, and she's doing it via public office. Isn't that great? So we know that wound that she received, but I think she's recovered and she'll come back what? Stronger. All right, 11th house here. Mars in its own sign. Wow, powerful. And it's in the sign of Ashwini, which is about innovation, going forward, speed. The Kumar twins are the deities of Ashwini, and they're associated with the eyes and health and healing. So again, we see that healing axis coming back because look, Mars is also the lord of her 6th house. So Stacey is very interested in public health, healing, well-being of people in general. The 11th house deals with the masses, and Mars, when he's in his own sign, becomes very strategic, very powerful. What did I write here on my notes? Let me just see what I scribbled down. So Mars is in his own house, in his own sign, and he becomes the fighting warrior of great strategic skill. Remember that skill, how she galvanized the public. The 11th house is relative to Aquarius, and Aquarius is known as other people's children, which means the public. And here it is, even though it's in Aries, it still holds the energy of the public. She was extremely strategic. So she's a difficult enemy to have. Yeah, she's not good to have as one of your enemies because she's very intelligent and she can work a lot of stuff out. Anyway, so fighting warrior of great strategic skill. She mobilized the people, 11th house, to hand defeat to the GOP and a victory for the Democrats. So we can see here that she's a good person to have on the team. She's got very good strategic ideas. And let's go to the 12th house, which is also a juicy house. Another slurp, and I'll do a read, and then we're going to do some tarot for the last part. The time is racing. My goodness. 12th house. What I've written here, look, we can see here the moon. It's in Rohini. Moon exalted. She's got an exalted moon. Means very powerful. Great awareness. And she's got very good awareness. A deep understanding of the machinations of politics. Remember, the 12th house deals with secrets, hidden enemies, plots that are hatched in the dark, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, that's what it deals with. And it also, and so she's got a great awareness of the machinations of politics and who her enemies are. I think she actually knows who they are. Yeah, she knows who they are. Like they say, keep your friends close and your enemies closer. That would definitely be true for her. And I put here, she's got many practical skills to deal with to deal with them, her enemies, in a creative, calm, and practical manner. Yeah, and I've put here that there could be secrets around food as well, and deep personal matters that no one knows. Now, why have I said that? Taurus is the sign of food. 12th house is hidden things, and it can also do with addictions as well. I'm not saying that she's got a food addiction or something like that, but there will be some kind of food will be a source of hidden comfort. when she's under pressure, when she's dealing with what? The 6th house, which is opposite. Yeah. Because here in her, she's dealing with a lot of tenacious, difficult enemies. So when she's in private, when she's at home, that could be a comfort, like it is for many of us. Think of how many of us, gained weight over lockdown and all that stuff and started baking like bonkers. Yeah. Most people's ovens have probably never had so much exercise. I lost, as we know, I lost weight over lockdown, but I changed my food. It was still all about food. I just ate different things. Anyway, but here it also shows deep intuition and psychic gifts. So she's a special person. She's a special person. At the moment, she is in Saturn Ketu here in red. So, that snip. So she's still under the radar, working behind the scenes. But soon she's going to go into Saturn-Venus Mahadasha, and she's going to go into that on the 27th of April, 2022. So we could be seeing some quite interesting things happen with Stacey. Now we need to look at the lordship, and where the planet goes. So if you're a Gemini ascendant, it means Venus is the ruler of your 5th house, which deals with politics and giving advice to others. Ooh, quite encouraging, isn't it? And it's also a very powerful house, and it's got Uranus in there. And it also means that Venus is lord of the 12th house. And remember, I was talking about machinations, secrets, and stuff like that. And her Venus goes to the 8th house. So it means the energy, of the 5th house and the 12th house goes into the 8th house. Venus is pulling the energy of those 2 houses into the 8th, because those are the houses that she rules. She's landlord of those 2 houses via Taurus and Libra. Make sense? Yeah. So it pulls it into the 8th. Remember, the 8th house is intrigues and transformation. So what this shows that she's coming in for a transformational period in her life, but she is in the Saturn Mahadasha. Now, Saturn is about pressure. But remember, look, Saturn is in the 1st house. What houses does he rule? He rules the 8th and the 9th. So it means transformation. So it means the energy of the 8th, which is transformation, sex, death, and rock and roll, and the energy of the 9th is being pulled into the 1st house, which is what? The body. So there could be some kind of transformation with her body. Now, I hope it's not a health thing. I don't want everyone to worry about that, but you never know. It could be. But it could be a health situation that leads to a transformation of the body in some kind. Or it could just be her having a kind of an epiphany and going through a personal transformation, because here we've got the Lord of the 5th and the 12th, and the 12th can deal with endings, but it's in the 8th house. So there is some kind of turning over of a new leaf, some kind of ending, but yet some kind of beginning as well for Stacey. This is a very dynamic time that she's going to be going through. So if I were her astrologer and I'd be giving her advice, I'd be definitely saying, pay attention to the health. Again, this is not scaremongering or whatever, but we must also understand that the Lord of the 8th, Saturn, is in the 1st, and the Lord of the 12th, which can deal with endings, is in the 8th. Yeah. So that's a very dynamic that can go in a lot of different directions. It can deal with shocks and surprises or scandals, or she could shock and surprise her enemies. Could be that. Or she does something very radical, dynamic, that is unexpected. Let's not forget, Uranus is also in the 5th house. 5th house deals with politics, but giving advice and counsel to others. So there's going to be some kind of situation with all of this energy pulling together when she's in her Saturn Venus, where the energy of her 12th house, the energy of her 5th house, the energy of her 8th house, the energy of her 9th house, and the energy of her 1st house all combine in one go. So if you put that together in your mind, that is a lot of change, isn't it? That is a lot of change. So Stacey Abrams is going to be having big changes in her life next year, particularly, remember, from the 27th of April, 2022, a big transformation. Let's hope it's nothing to do with the negative aspects of the 12th house, which is loss, or the 8th house, which is, you know, those kind of darker things. Let's hope it's the higher energy, which is the transformation, transcendence. The 12th house also as well deals with vision, with dreams. She may be trying to manifest a dream in some shape or form, or she could be going on a global tour of some kind. 12th house can also deal with politics as well, because it's very international. Many politicians have a planet in the 12th house. So it could just be as well that she's got this extra energy. Let's not also forget too that this moon is exalted. So it's strong. So she does have a lot of internal reservoirs of strength. So let's see what happens. But you heard it here first. Big transformations. And remember that date. She goes into Saturn, Venus on the 27th of April. I said March, 27th of the 4th, April 2022, next year. All right, folks, let's do a few more call outs. Shall we do a bit of tarot as well? I think let's answer some of those questions, and I hope you found that dive into Stacey's chart. I hope you found that interesting. So let's see what you guys have been talking about here. Marsha Green is saying Stacey is fearless and she's on a mission. Absolutely, she is, especially with this here. Yeah, when you've got the sun in Jeshta, it never gives up. It never gives up. I mean, there is a bit of a problem with that as well, because old Duck Larange has got his moon in Jeshta, so he never gives up either. Never knows when he's defeated. It also means Stacey doesn't know when she's defeated as well. But she's one of the good guys. At least we'd like to think so anyway. So here we are. So so Connie Brown has said she's going to be Georgia governor or senator. Oh, fingers crossed. Because you know what, Connie? You know what, Connie? You've got a very good point. 8th house is power. 8th house is power. And she's a Scorpio, which is relative to the 8th house. And she's going into Saturn, Venus. Venus is in her 8th house. Saturn's in the 1st. Saturn is also government and politics. And she's due for a big transformation, which will be happening in April. Oh my goodness. That could be one of that would be the positive manifestation. If she becomes governor, that would do it. But that's what her chart is looking like, and it will happen 27th of April 2022. That's when that full energy kicks in. Ooh, well spotted, Connie. Yeah, thanks for that. Let's hope that's what happens. Let's hope that's what happens. So let's see here. Oh, let's see here. So spirits beyond the stars. Linda G said that her guides told her that George Washington is Stacey Abrams in this lifetime. Bloody hell. Ooh, we might have to compare notes on that one. On Linda G. Wow. There's something powerful with her chart. You know, I've read it to you. You can see it. And of course, you can watch it back on the replay. But next year, there is this, the energy is dynamic. It really changes up for her. And I would like to think she's going to be doing the higher manifestations of that transformation. But whatever it is, it's big. It's big. So, yeah, that wouldn't surprise me. Let's see here. Let's see here. So Mimi is saying, I felt for a while that Biden may appoint Stacey into a leadership role. That could happen too. Because remember, transformation can also be very positive as well. It just means that transformation, something changes. She's going into this energy pattern where it just, the dynamics are there. And you can see that as well. I mean, obviously she's involved in politics, but something's going to happen here. I love that analogy. That's a really good one. Energy Alchemist Tarot. Thanks so much. Hey there. the butterfly emerging. Yeah. So we could see this very much as a chrysalis phase, because she is in Saturn Ketu, which is not easy, you know, because that's snip and separation. Yeah. And it's also in her first house, Saturn Ketu. So she really is actually doing an inventory of herself, maybe to get ready for transformation next year. She could have stuff up her sleeve. Let's see here. Yes, Connie Brown. Are they teaming up? Oh, what's this here? Marsha Green saying, "Hogarth, it's just so funny. Lockdown, we saw a lot of things more clearly." Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And this is my sort of like service in a way that I want to give to as many people, so that we can look at the Vedic positions. And we've seen, look how accurate it is. Even though it may not be the most positive news, I did say, look, there's going to be a big dip in the fall when Jupiter debilitates, and it's going to be around money and even things around real estate, because it will aspect when Jupiter is in the sign of Capricorn, as it is here, it aspects the sign of Cancer. Cancer is what? About what? Home, family, the roof over your head, sense of security, real estate. So if a debilitated Jupiter, if a debilitated Jupiter is looking there, we're going to feel less optimism about those things. We're going to feel Jupiter also represents money, cash flow, deals with cash flow. What is the big debate at the moment? Are they going to vote to lift the debt ceiling? Yeah. And it's hanging what? In the balance. And guess what? The GOP are not helping out. Yeah. Now, if you guys saw last week when I pulled, let me get my tarot out. Oh my gosh, the time's gone. We've only got 9 minutes left. Do you remember those dreadful cards I got? They weren't great, were they? But I think they are proving accurate, aren't they? Because the GOP are just like, oh, look who's at the bottom of the deck. I say GOP, and look at that. If we needed any more evidence, there we are. So let's do a quick old read. Actually on some of those other ones, and then we'll do the debt ceiling last. I'll see if I can whip through. I may have to run over a little bit, but I don't want to go on for too long. Right, let's see here. It's going to do Lindsey Graham. No, you know what? Let's do a quick pull. Oh, 250 of you now. Thank you so much. Let's do a quick pull on Zuckerberg. Yeah, Zuckerberg. Let's do a pull on him. Do you know what? He reminds me of a certain animal, and I just cannot help it. But do you agree? Does he remind you of a llama? Yeah, he reminds me of a llama. So let's see. Oh, Marsh Green. So Laura is, so there's a response here. Oops. Laura Carson, you're 100% correct. I look at my siblings different, especially the ones that will not take the shot. Oh, yes. Yeah, there's all these, exactly, so many different things. Right, Mark Zuckerberg. Let's pull 3 cards. You know, I'm not sure he's worthy of 5. And then we'll do like 5 cards on the debt ceiling, because that really is important. Oh, Edie, thank you so much for your donation. Mwah! So nice that you're here with me. So I'm doing a pull on Zuckerberg. Let's just do 3 cards on this guy. I mean, we all need Facebook, but you know, they do need to look at those algorithms, and that whistleblower coming forward has really kind of confirmed a lot of what we already know, because it makes them a lot of money. But my goodness, what has it done to democracy? If we think, remember as well, Russia. Yeah, buying up all those Facebook ads, you know, for, you know, the run, you know, for Duck L'Orange. And, you know, there's a lot of karma that has fallen at Facebook's door. It doesn't mean people are going to stop using them overnight, but I think people are really beginning to reassess their relationship with Facebook. Anyway, right, Zuckerberg. Let's pull 3 cards, and let me move the laptop down. So you can see my lovely table. All right, Zuckerberg, 3 cards. Oh, and thank you everyone for joining me tonight. It's wonderful having you here. So nice. I love doing this show. And thanks for all the wonderful likes and comments, and, you know, people just saying really lovely stuff about the show, and that they enjoy this one-on-one. All right, Zuckerberg. Let's see. Is this the one? All right, that's 3 cards. 3 cards on Zuckerberg. On Spirit, what's going on with him right now, and Facebook, and all of the Machinations. This one. All right. All right, let's see. I'll move this back. Let's turn over. Ah, look, they're juggling things. They're trying to balance themselves out. Remember, they had that big old shootout the other day. Look, he's going for the power. Ah, in regards to the government. Oh, thank you, Energy Alchemist. You've just become a new member. Thank you so much. I think you've been wanting to join for a while, but thank you. Thank you so much. Let me actually do a click up here. There you are. Thank you, new member. Okay. So just as we saw, look at that. He is juggling hard. What is he juggling? It's all about what? The money, yeah, coming in from overseas. Let's not forget as well all the stuff to do with Russia, yeah, those adverts. And they just took the cash, yeah, took the cash. But what is the obstacle? Here we are. People are starting to wonder about what? Facebook's power. Do they have too much power? This is a card of power and manifestation, but it's come up in the obstacle position. So this suggests that people are worried about the reach of Facebook. Maybe they've reached too far. Maybe they've got too much information, too much power in regards to people's information and the power to influence and manipulate. Yeah, the shadow of this can be manipulation, but it's most definitely influence. And it is actually a very positive card. Oh, thank you, Catherine, for your donation. That's wonderful. Thank you. So if we look here, but look, the outcome card is the government. Yeah, I think the government or authority figures and the law has at last started to wake up to this Facebook thing. Yeah, think of it as a division. Think of all of the misinformation that's out there as well, you know, but, you know, there's lots of information, good or bad, you know, that is on Facebook. But the thing is, it's the proliferation of it. That is part of the problem. So this says to me, there could be new rules and regulations coming in regards to Facebook, but particularly as we're Mercury retrograde, and that's all things to do with media, and it's in the sign of Virgo, which also deals with health. They are looking at the impact that social media is having on people's health. Yeah, and remember there's like, you know, an Instagram as well, and people, the algorithms directing them to bulimia sites and all that kind of self-harming, all that stuff. So you see, just to go back over, Facebook, Zuckerberg, he is juggling like anything. Yes, getting those coins, and he's like, oh my God, you know, and he's just he's walking that tightrope in regards to, you know, things overseas, but just the money in general. That's really what he's been doing. He's been enjoying the money a bit too much. And people are starting to question Facebook's power and influence, and the government is going to have to step in to maybe change some rules and regulations around social media. What's Nancy saying? So movie, The Social Dilemma. Ah, yes, there is that movie. Don't worry if you misspelled my name. It's all right. You can also call me Hoagie as well. Not worry. Oh, that's another new name. Mai. Oh, lovely name. Right. Okay, let's do a pull on that debt ceiling, as there's less than 3 minutes to go, and let's see what's going on. Now, you remember my last card that I got? It was dreadful, wasn't it? Let's just face it. It was dreadful. It was the Ten of Swords, wasn't it? But, you know, I say what the cards say, yeah, because we're just tuning into the energy. And like I've said a few times before, tarot is like esoteric journalism. Yeah, you heard it here first. It's like esoteric journalism. It tunes in to the collective unconscious. So let's see what's going on with that debt ceiling. And I'm going to pull 5 cards this time, because you know what? Those GOP people and that Mitch McConnell and all them, you know, there's certain names that I could call them, but I will refrain, shall we say. What's Vivian's asking? What was the meeting that with Zuckerberg and former guy about? What was the meeting with Zuckerberg and the former guy about at the White House? Oh, so he went and met at the White House. Oh, I don't know. But either way, because the Magician was the second card, yeah, the obstacle card, but it's also the anchor card, it shows it, the Magician is about the use of power, the skills at one's disposal, the ability to manipulate a situation in one's favor. Very powerful card, very powerful card. Okay, debt ceiling. All right, so I read last week. Let's see if anything's changed. Debt ceiling. So let's see if the cards, certain cards come back. Let's hope we don't get the Ten of Swords again. But if we do, then that's says a lot, doesn't it? All right, debt ceiling, debt ceiling. Let me just pull the camera down so you guys can see what I'm up to. Debt ceiling. Spirit, what can you tell us about the debt ceiling? Yeah. Next card, debt ceiling, debt ceiling. What can you tell us about the debt ceiling? Tell us oh, no, I think it's that one. I think it's that one. Debt ceiling, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, 5 cards. Let's have a little reveal and then I'll talk about them in detail. Make sure that is above. There we are. Right, let's do a quick turn. The death card. Wanting to move to smaller waters but can't. Something coming forward with pace, feeling embattled. Oh dear. These cards are not great, are they? I'm sorry, folks. I would love to give you, wonderful news, but all right. So I asked about the debt ceiling. Look at this. Death, yeah, but reversed. What does it mean? Death is normally a card of renewal, endings, yeah? But when it's reversed, it becomes more internalized and it shows an inability to let go of things from the past, not wanting to move forward and being blocked in some kind of way, trying to block transformation. Guess who that's gonna be, yeah? The grand old party, yeah? Doing what? Blocking things. They don't have any new ideas, anything to rejuvenate the situation. All they can do is what? Block it. So if we look here, let's have a little scroll down as well. Here, the obstacle, trying to move to smoother waters, but look, it's reversed. So that's basically what? Blocked again. So we've got the Democrats who are trying to move to what? To smoother waters, and they're being thwarted and blocked by the GOP. The GOP are saying, you know what, vote for it yourself. But then they did some other little scams the other day, which have basically stopped, the Democrats being able to just to vote for it themselves. So, they're going to have to really take a hacksaw to that filibuster. Guys, not GOP, Democrats, if you're watching, just do it. Worry about the stuff afterwards. Joe Biden, pick up your pen and sign. Whatever you need to do to get it done, sort out the detail later, yeah? Because if America defaults, which is what Jupiter debilitated would indicate, yeah, remember I've been saying there will be a big correction, stuff to do with money. We don't want that to happen. But look, the GOP are not helping. Yeah, they're getting in the way. However, there is a thrust to move forward. So what we do need to remember is this, is that, let's just show you. Now, there will be, oh, crumbs. There we go. There will be some movement. Now, Saturn and Jupiter are now in the same house here. Jupiter is debilitated. Yeah, that's putting the air, letting the air out of the economy. People's pockets, people don't feel like they have enough money. Yeah. And remember, Saturn has been given this aspect here to Libra. Libra is what? All things legal, the law profession, but literally judges, lawyers, contracts, all of that stuff, agreements. Saturn is what? Slows things down, reduces things. What does he deal with? Government. There's this slowdown in the government, and Jupiter is also debilitated as well. Won't be looking, it's actually going to be looking at Virgo. But the point is, they are going to start going direct. So Saturn will start going direct, will go direct on the 11th of October. Remember that. That's when Saturn just begins to start going direct. And then if I remember correctly off the top of my head, Jupiter starts moving direct on the 17th of October. So look, there's going to be some kind of forward movement. Could it be that there is a sudden movement at the last minute with some kind of bold dynamic where the Democrats are able to raise the debt ceiling just in time. Because remember, I said Saturn moves direct on the 11th of October, but Jupiter, which also deals with money, doesn't move direct until the 17th. When is the debt ceiling due to expire? The 18th. Could it be that Jupiter comes to the rescue? We'll have to see. But also as well, we look here as well, when the card is the right way up, this is an embattled person who's very determined to carry on. But look, when it's reversed, it can be feelings of feeling overwhelmed. The Democrats are feeling a bit overwhelmed by the whole situation. But they have to find their courage. They need to be bold and dynamic. This is not the time to be shy. They've got to let rip. They've got to play hardball. And if we look here, this is the card of walking away. When it's the right way up, that's about walking away things, leaving things behind and just be like, you know what, I'm done. When the card is reversed, of course, it becomes more introspective. But this could also mean as well, funny enough, when it's reversed, it can mean getting a bit of help from someone, maybe even a bit of unexpected help. It's also as well reviewing that energy of walking away. Yeah, so it could be, when we look here, just when the Democrats are feeling overwhelmed, maybe there is some shift. Maybe this help comes from Jupiter, where there is this shift at the last minute, at the last gasp, just as the bomb is about to explode, James Bond style, something happens. But if things do change, that is going to be how it's going to happen, because we know here the GOP, yeah, death reversed, do not want this change. They want everyone to suffer, yeah? And then they're going to say it's the Democrats' fault, yeah? And because certain people have very short memories or basically, frankly, brainwashed right now, you know, many will believe it. But anyway, so let's see what happens. So I've given you some dates there to pay attention to. We've done Stacey. She's due in for a big transformation. I'm just going to do some last readouts before I close the show. Let's not also forget that I will be with Diane this Friday coming. Also as well, what I did was I had my little offer. I actually made a little mistake, actually. I was supposed to make it last a bit longer than I did, and I limited the coupon, which is a bit silly. So anyway, if anyone's interested in having a consultation with me, if you put in this Hoagie20, you are going to get 20% off all my consultations. So I'll do that for a little while, but get in before it goes. Because these are tricky times, and this is a good time as well. The fall is always a good time to have a look at these things. And I just thought it would just be nice to help people out with a bit of a discount if they were worried about stuff or they wanted to look at stuff on career and stuff like that. So, you know, you can go to my website, thearchetypalblueprint.com, as usual. Wow, look at my booking, and, you know, you can chuck that stuff in there. But there'll be more details when I talk as well on Diane's show. So who did we have in? So someone's asking, Hogarth, what can you share on the square aspect between Uranus and Saturn on the 24th of December 2021? In Western astrology, it would be in Uranus in Taurus and Saturn in Aquarius. So yeah, so basically Uranus is in sidereal Aries right now, and Saturn is in sidereal Capricorn. Now, Capricorn is what? Government. Yeah, government. Uranus is in Aries, which is about revolution, breaking through, shocks and surprises. So there could be a major shock with the government. Those aspects, or even things to do with infrastructure, supply chains, things like that, the normal working orders of things that could be affected. And these squares, you know, they do come along. I can't remember. I think it's every 20 years or something like, I forget. Forgive me. I should know that. But they come at regular intervals. So you've got the conjunction, then you've got the, you know, the waxing square, then you've got the opposition, and then you've got the waning square. You know, this one, we're having the waning square, which is coming up. So there's lots and stuff like that going on. What's this here? Mark Z likes to lie to the people. He fits very well with Trump and his oh yeah, lies and corruption. There's all of this stuff is coming out. Have you noticed? Remember, Pluto is in the second house. All the dirt, haven't we seen coming in what? Capricorn. We've had the Pandora Papers come out. We've had January 6th. Do you see, like where I was saying with how Pluto brings these things up to be cleaned and expunged. What's there? I'll read out one more, and then I must close the show, otherwise the video will be too long. Senator Mitch McConnell says he is offering to allow Democrats to raise the debt limit into December to allow them to use the reconciliation process to raise the debt ceiling. Ooh, let's see. That seems to be a bit of movement. From what I saw in the recent news, he was digging in his heels. But anyway, that was a great show. I hope you really enjoyed it. Me saying that, I mean that in the sense of interacting with you, which I so enjoyed. Oh, I see another donation came in. So thank you, Yanti, so much for your donation. I will be back next week. In the comments below, I know a lot of you are commenting here, which is wonderful. Love your comments. But in the video comment, shall we say, put your comments in there of who you would like me to look at next week. Yeah, who you'd like me to look at next week. And for members and new members and stuff like that who have joined, please check out my video on Martin Luther King. My God, I'm telling you, it's a cracker, guys. It is a cracker. I even pulled tarot to see who was behind the shooting. So again, these are things I can't say on the public YouTube, but in the memberships I can. But anyway, so you will see me on Friday, of course, on Diane's show, and then of course we'll be back together on Hadaiga's Tarot. So here on my platform, but the three of us, so we really look forward to that. Diane is feeling a lot better. I saw one of her videos, and I hope as well Lady G is feeling better as well. Thanks so much for all the support, really appreciate it. Mwah! Big kiss to everyone. Got to end the show there, because if the video is too long, no one will watch it. All right. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.